Good morning, children. Hope you all are keeping fine. Today we are going to study about saints. Saints have a great contribution for the church. They are exemplary because they teach us through their lives. Today we are going to talk about an important saint who was the promoter of human dignity. Human beings are born, live and die in this world. Most of them live as good people, but some excel in human dignity and live like saints already in this world. It is God's world that helps them to achieve the state of maturity in life. In the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 3, we read, "Happy is the one who reads this book, and happy are those who listen to the words of this prophetic message and obey what is written in this book." Saint Francis Xavier is one among them who listened to the word of God and by living it reached the fullness of human dignity. In 1506 AD, Saint Francis Xavier was born in Spain, Europe. In his youth, he had many worldly ambitions. He studied at the University of Paris. There, he met Saint Ignatius of Loyola, who also studied there and developed a close friendship with him. Will a person gain anything if he wins the whole world but loses his life? Of course not. There is nothing he can give to regain his life. These words, which were often uttered by Ignatius, touched the heart of Francis and changed his life completely. In 1537 AD, he joined the Jesuit order and became a priest. In 1542 AD, he came to India as a missionary, worked in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. As a result of his mission work, many became Christians. He worked especially among the pearl fishers of the fishery coast from Vaipar to Cape Comorin in the east and Cape Comorin in the west coast. He used to collect people and teach them catechism. His work was called Kumari Mission. Francis Xavier went to Japan from India and preached the gospel there as well. But in 1552, he died on the island of Sanshin on his way to China to preach the gospel. His body is kept incorrupt in the Basilica of Bon Gesù in Goa. Saint Francis Xavier is the patron of all the missions, and his feast is on December 3rd. Saint Francis Xavier had a great love for God, and so he relinquished his title and position as a professor. Because of this love, he went to India and Japan to preach the gospel. He had an ardent desire to preach God's love to the poor. Therefore, he undertook many travels and accepted many sufferings. Saint Francis Xavier manifested his love of God in his love for others. Before coming to India, he worked in a hospital in Lisbon. On his way to India by sea, many in the ship fell ill, and he and his two companions took care of them. And in Goa, every Sunday, he offered Mass with the lepers and gave all the help very much needed. Every morning, he went to the hospital, consoled the patients, prayed for them, and helped them. In this way, Saint Francis Xavier bore witness in his life for the love of God and the love of neighbor. All the 10 commandments, dear children, can be divided into 2 sections. One in relation to God and the other in relation to the neighbor. The first 3 commandments belong to the first section and the following 7 belong to the second section. In the same way, all the 10 commandments can be summarized into 2: love of God and love of neighbor. That is why Jesus says the whole law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets depend on these 2 commandments. And it is mentioned in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 40. The love of God and the love of neighbor are like the 2 sides of the same coin. Saint Francis Xavier practiced these 2 dimensions of love in his life. Thus, he was great before God and before people. Likewise, when we, my dear children, practice the love of God and the love of neighbor, we manifest in fullness the image and the likeness of God, in which consists the essence of human dignity. So, dear children, let us remember the words of Psalm 119, verse 105. Your word is a lamp to guide me and a light for my path. Keeping this thought in mind, let us all, just like Saint Francis Xavier, work for the human dignity, love God and love neighbor. Have a good day, dear children. God bless you.